Welcome to another video. In the last video I explained why I've decided to LS swap my E30. But before the LS was even a thought in my mind, I'd already done quite a few upgrades, and in this video I'm going to explain all my modifications and what I've done to this car. But before that, you may notice we're in a bit of a different space. This is my new workshop. So about 2 months ago, when I was finishing up the LS build, a good mate of mine who was bringing some of the parts back from the US from it said that he was looking at getting a bigger unit, as he already had a unit, and it was on the same yard. It was about 3 or 4 times the size of his unit, and he asked if he wanted to go halves or thirds on it. So I had a little think about it and thought, yeah, why not? It means I've got space to build this car exactly how I want it. And I'm indoors, I'm not on a drive, I'm not in a tight garage. I've got a good amount of room around the car. We've only just moved in the last couple of weeks, so I've freshly painted the walls and floors. But yeah, that means in the next few videos, this is going to be coming out, which is exciting. I can't wait. And we're going to start planning out how we're going to arrange this engine bay. So I'll use a 2-post ramp, I'll use that to get the engine and stuff out. I'll probably drop the lot out the bottom. It gives me a nice place to work while I'm doing the car, because I don't have space at home to do it. It was sort of perfect timing, really. So yeah, excited to get going now. So as far as paintwork, you can tell this car's lived in London for a good portion of its life. Southerners can't drive, so it just gets dinged up everywhere. Joking. Or am I? But yeah, when I bought the car, it looked like 1 or 2 of the doors had been resprayed. There's also a dint on the left, or a decent dint on the left rear arch. I have also put new front wings on it, front bumper and lower lip, because I did actually end up spinning this car into a field and it damaged everything on the front end basically. So I bought new, refreshed it and painted it. I have tried polishing this paintwork quite a few times. It does come up quite good after it's been polished, cut and polished, but I probably will give it a respray while I'm in here doing the build. It'll only be me painting it. It's not going to be a professional paint job, but I'm interested to see how good I can get it doing it in here. I will be making myself a temporary spray booth just so I don't get overspray everywhere. I do want to keep it the same colour. I really like this red on E30s, and I think once it's cleaned up, fresh paint, it'll really pop. Also, you can see, like I just mentioned, I have put a front lip on it. This is I believe it's the Riga front lip. In my opinion, it's probably one of the better looking lips for the E30. It's a little bit like the IS lip, but a bit more aggressive. But unfortunately, I did take some railway crossings a little bit too fast about a week ago, and the front lip bottomed out and it's split it and smashed it up. So that's my bad. But I'll either repair this and paint it up again, or I'll maybe look at buying a new one or other options. I might even 3D design myself one up. And then we've just got some nice pressed plates, which on a car of this age really looks good. And then we've also got the smiley, I think they call them smiley headlights, just in the smoked look. Obviously kept the chrome grills because I think it should be illegal to change them to black. No, I'm joking, but I do like the chrome look. It keeps it a bit more retro. So, interior wise, what have I done? So I've only really done creature comfort type of things. So, like a Momo Prototipo steering wheel, I think it's in the heritage look. Really fits the car nicely, lovely to drive with. And that is fitted to a NRG quick release, which in my opinion is probably one of the better ones around just for street cars and light track use. Nice and easy to locate and stuff. Yeah, really like this setup. Plus, because I'm a tall lad, I have to have my seat quite far back. And with the OEM steering wheel, I was quite outstretched. So having this quick release has actually pushed the steering wheel back, and it's actually made it more comfortable for me to drive. So what else have I done? Well, when I first got the car, I got a Bluetooth radio, just a cheap one, just so I could link my phone to it, obviously. I also wanted to make sure the speakers worked, because when I bought it, it didn't actually have a radio in it. And I didn't want to spend a load of money on a radio, and then the speakers were blown, and then I didn't have enough money to get some nice speakers. So I just got a cheap radio at the time, worked fine, all the speakers were fine. I ended up upgrading the speakers anyway, which I've done. I think they're all Sony or Pioneer. It's something I always do with all cars that I buy, to be honest, is just upgrade the interior speakers. I don't go mental and do a full sound system, but I do think it makes a noticeable difference to the sound quality. But yeah, I had a cheap Bluetooth radio. It didn't fit with the look of the car, so when I got a bit of money together, I got the new Blaupunkt. They're like a retro radio. They're doing quite a few now, and I think there's a Continental are doing a few as well. But I got the Blaupunkt one, really good, DAB radio, Bluetooth, and it looks the part. It looks like it belongs in the car. It doesn't look out of place, which is what I wanted. I wanted it to look pretty stealthy. I've also got a quad lock wireless charging mount that I've just mounted to the air vents. Like I say, it's wireless charger, so I just throw my phone on there and it obviously charges it, and it puts it in a nice place for when I'm driving to have maps up and stuff like that. So again, it's all just creature comfort stuff. I have changed the gear knob, and it's got Alcantara gear shift gaiter and handbrake gaiter. The other modification that was done before I even bought the car was someone blew the arse out of the seat. I haven't done that. My farts aren't that vicious. But yeah, I've always got around thinking I'll change it, but I just never have. We've also got a bit of a sagging headlining, pretty common in these E30 Tourings. It's probably one of the first things I'll end up doing once the engine's out of this thing. Getting this headlining rewrapped in some nice grey Alcantara, light grey I think I'm going to go. Same with the A, B and C pillars and D pillars. Yeah, just have it looking smart. So as far as wheels and tyres go, we've got some BBS LM reps. They're pretty good reps actually. They've lasted me 3 or 4 years. They've only just started getting quite tatty in the last year. And that's probably mainly because I haven't really looked after them as much as I did when I first got them. But yeah, the lacquer's starting to go a bit cracked and the paint's a bit flaky, and I've curbed one of the wheels. But yeah, really impressed with these, to say that the reps. And I get a lot of compliments on them, which is nice. They're wrapped in Yokohama Advan Flevers, if that's how you say it. I'm pretty impressed with the tyres. Yeah, got a nice tread pattern, pretty good in the wet. What's not to like? And as for the tread pattern, it's quite a little bit racy. Not really, but... So, now the wheel's off, you can see that I've painted the caliper red. Mainly because we all know when you paint calipers, it adds 5 horsepower per corner. So I've obviously done both fronts, so it's an extra 10 horsepower, which when this thing's only got 100 from standard, an extra 10 horsepower, 10% better, 10% better. So yeah, painted calipers. We have got the standard pads and discs. And as you may or may not be able to see in here, I don't think the light's the best. But we are sat on BC Racing coilovers. I've had these on for 3 or 4 years and they've been really good, to be honest. Value for money is really there. For a budget coilover that's less than £1,000 or $1,000, it is good if you want to dial in your ride height, dial in your camber. It is a really good kit. My only gripe with them is that the top mounts, because they're solid top mounts, can be a little bit crashy. All coilovers that use solid top mounts are like that. It's because it's solid to the shock towers. The only way to get around that is to run like OEM style rubber top mounts, which I may look at running on this if I stick on the BC coilovers, see if I can fit an OEM top mount, mainly because I've had these coilovers on for 3 or 4 years now, and not once have I adjusted the camber, because when I sat this down to set it up and do the geometry, it was at about 2 degrees, just over I think, and that's about what I want to run. And it's been wearing the tyres really evenly actually. And as you may or may not know, on the E30s and a lot of older BMWs, you have to weld the sleeve to the upright. So because I had to do that, I actually bought a full set of used front uprights, both fronts, got them welded, because at the time I didn't know how to weld, so I got someone to weld them, and then basically built them all up, all new dust shields, everything was brand new, new wheel bearings, everything. So when I came to fit the coilovers, it was basically remove a whole hub and put a whole new one in. Made the installation process a lot quicker and nicer, because when I was building them up, I spent a lot of time getting everything nice. So when I got round to throwing them in, everything was brand new. As well as the BC coilovers, we have also got some eye-back anti-roll bars. That it's probably a bit dark, but you'll see. These are stiffer. I only installed them a year or so ago. Mainly because I ended up spinning this car into a field because a deer jumped out in front of me. And my main excuse for that is because I had to dart one way to avoid the deer, which I did. I missed the deer. But then I was heading towards trees, which I didn't like the look of. So I darted it back the other way, and that momentum spun the car around. And in my head, it was because the anti-roll bar's too soft. Definitely wasn't. So yeah, decided I know what I need to do. I need to get some stiffer roll bars. So yeah, I got some eye-back roll bars, and actually it has made a big difference. And I've said it for years that it makes a big difference when I've fitted them to other cars. And I don't know why I didn't fit them to start with, but here we are, you live and learn. So yeah, eye-back anti-roll bars. They are stiffness adjustable. I have messed about with these and just got them so the car handles how I like now. I think I'm softest on the front, and I'm pretty sure I'm stiffest on the rear. So it gets a nice bit of rotation now. I've also got a bit of a common modification. I don't know if you can do it in the States, but certainly in Europe, I think the front drop links are the same as well, not the same, but Ford Mondeo or something like that. I'll try and find a picture of what I bought. Drop links work on the E30, and it's 2 ball joints instead of the OEM BMW style, which is basically 2 rubber bushes. Much nicer in my opinion, but a bit easier to fit and remove as well. I've also done braided brake lines. I did this because I was chasing a bit of a spongy feeling brake pedal, and I thought it was because of the brake lines. It wasn't. So on right-hand drive E30s, so only really the UK and Australian cars would know, but the brake master cylinder is on the passenger side still, like it would be on a left-hand drive car, but they have basically a long bar that goes from one side to the other and works as a bit of a pivot to actuate the master cylinder. And I think there's a bit of twist in that, and that's what I'm feeling as the spongy brake pedal, which I do want to remove when I do this engine swap. I've got a bit of a solution in my head that I'm hoping might work, but now I'm looking a bit closer, I'm not 100% convinced, but we'll see. I ended up going full new braided lines. I did, some of the hard lines were rusted, so I replaced them as well. What else have I done in the corners? Not a lot. It's running 25mm or 20 or 25mm spacers all the way around, just to get the fitment a bit better. And with these wheels, if I remember rightly, I couldn't get the wheels to fit because the wheel was touching the actual spring on the front. So I had to run spacers, but I also spaced it out so it looked a bit nicer. I've also rolled the arches front and back. When I replaced the arches with brand new, I rolled them before I painted them, and I rolled them quite a lot, so they've got a really nice lip on them now. So I could go a bit more aggressive with the fitment, but yeah, we'll do that when we're finishing up the build. So, modifications in the engine bay. What have I done? To be honest, very little. I've converted it to an electric fan because the viscous fan that was on it before, one of the blades came off and actually shattered the whole shroud and everything. So when I looked to replace it with back to standard, it was 300 or 400 quid in parts, which I didn't really want to spend that. So I decided to go electric fan. It's got a little temperature switch in here which you can adjust, and it just clicks on when the coolant reaches a certain temperature. Works fine. You'll have seen in my overheating video, it's got a new radiator. I am just using the rubbish sort of ties, metal ties to hold the fan in. Works, but it's not the best. It will be something that I am changing, because I might be changing the radiator. We'll see where we get to when I actually build the car. But yeah, it's been working great. Other than that, she's pretty much bog standard. Nothing really to see, apart from my peeling insulation, which is disgusting. But yeah, that's it. Standard air filter, pretty much standard everything under here. Because the plan has always been to engine swap the car, so I didn't want to start going mental, modifying it all. I didn't really see the point. The other thing that I have done is a battery relocation. The battery from standard was in here. I did relocate that into the boot. That's something I wanted to do. It opens up a lot of possibilities for when you're engine swapping it. So you can see from the top we've got the adjusters for the BC coilovers. You'll also see what I mean where I've not actually adjusted it. It is in the standard position, and yeah, it is in I'm pretty sure it's 4 clicks from full soft. Let's prove it, see if you can hear it. I lied, it's 2 clicks. Yep, 2 clicks, and that's the same all the way around. I did have them set a bit stiffer to start with, but yeah, I wanted to soften it up a little. So yeah, that's it under the engine bay. I do want to tidy all this up, like I've said in previous videos, cut some of these brackets off that I don't need. Will be a little bit of an engine bay tuck, but not excessive. I want it to be workable. So on the rear of the car, we don't really have any major modifications. We've got a twin exhaust, which I'll talk about in a minute. In a previous video, you may or may not know that I designed a rear wing or rear spoiler for this car. I haven't yet tried to test fit it, mainly because I haven't had it 3D printed. So I do want to get that done, get that fitted, see what I think, see what tweaks I need to make. But yeah, other than that, no real modifications. Obviously there's the standard E30 modification that they do on the Touring, which is the rust that just eats these tailgates for fun. I am going to sort that out in one way or another, clean it up, weld it, or yeah, we'll see. Another bit I've got to do during this build. Hence why I thought a workshop would be perfect, because doing all this sort of work on the drive is not realistic, especially when you've got to take a tailgate off to clean it up and weld it. And if you know anything about England and the north, is that it does rain quite often. So it's not practical to have the boot lid off of this car for any meaningful time if the car's not indoors. And that's just one of the many reasons why getting this unit is ideal, really. So what we've got in terms of exhaust, it isn't standard, as you can see by the massive tips on it. We are running a TA Technics, I think it is. Mainly got it because the old one was rusted and OEM ones were expensive and I couldn't get one in decent time. The TA Technics, I think I got it off eBay in 100 or 200 quid. Gave me the dual tips, which looked miles better than the standard 316 single tip tiny pea shooter thing. So yeah, upgraded it to this. It's a little bit drony, but it looks cool, a bit more like a 325 dual tip exhaust. Goes all the way down to here, just behind the cat. It's pretty good. Like, I did have to do some bending of these pipes because they didn't fit the best around the subframe, but it wasn't too bad. I've also installed a Polybush Powerflex rear diff bush. I got the Heritage line, which is very much like an OEM rubber bush stiffness, but in a polybush form. So it's easy to install and service and what have you. So on the front, I've also done the Heritage line Powerflex polybush for the lollipop bushing. Again, the old ones were perished and it really felt when you were going over bumps, it was changing the steering because these were moving in and out. So yeah, changed them. Again, very impressed. Very OEM feeling, to be honest, which is what I'm after. I'm not after a harsh race car, I'm after a nice daily road car. And again, you can see the roll bars there. All right, that's pretty much it when it comes to modifications on the E30. It's had a fair few tweaks over the years, but now we've got the new workshop, I can really start pushing on getting this LS into the engine bay. In the next video, hopefully we're going to be taking the engine out of this thing, and then we can start to see how the LS is going to fit in here and what potential modifications I've got to do to get it in. So if you're into LSs, engine swaps, E30s, or just modifying cars, please consider subscribing, leave a like, and maybe comment on what you would have done to modify the car differently. See you in the next video.